Did you know that nearly half of all people claim to have experienced something they can't explain? Tonight, we're diving into true horror stories that will leave you questioning reality. Are you ready for the chills? Let's begin. Samantha was a frequent traveler. Her job required her to stay in hotels, sometimes for weeks at a time. But one business trip would leave her questioning her sanity and her safety. It started, the room was clean, and she settled in for the night. But at around 2 a.m., Samantha woke to the feeling of being watched. She turned over and saw nothing unusual. The curtains were drawn, the room was silent. Dismissing it as a dream, she went back to sleep. The next night, the unease grew. Mirror. A shadowy figure standing in the corner of the room. Whipping around, she found nothing there. Her heart raced. Was she overtired? Hallucinating? Determined to shake it off, she closed her laptop early and decided to sleep. But as she lay in bed, the sensation of being watched returned. This time, she didn't ignore it. Turning on the bedside lamp, she scanned the room. It looked empty, but the air felt heavy. She grabbed her phone to text a friend when the lamp flickered and went out. In the darkness, Samantha heard a soft, raspy breathing that wasn't her own. Terrified, she bolted from the bed and turned on every light in the room. The breathing stopped. Shaking, she spent the rest of the night wide awake. The next morning, she told the hotel manager, who paled at her story. He confessed that guests often reported strange occurrences in that room. Samantha left that day, vowing never to return. Lisa lived in a quiet suburban neighborhood. One summer night, as she was getting ready for bed, she heard her dog growling at the back door. Looking out the window, she saw a man standing at the edge of her yard. He was motionless, staring at her house. Lisa's heart raced. She turned off the lights and watched him from behind the curtains. The man didn't move for what felt like hours. She called the police, but by the time they arrived, he was gone. Relieved, she went to bed. But the next night, he was back. This time, he was closer. Lisa called the police again, but as before, the man disappeared before they arrived. They suggested she install security cameras, which she did the following day. That night, Lisa stayed awake, watching the live feed on her phone. Around 3 a.m., the man appeared, walking up to her back door. He tried the handle, but it was locked. Lisa called the police again, but as they pulled into her driveway, the man walked calmly into the woods. The footage was clear, but when the police tried to identify him, they hit a dead end. No one in the neighborhood recognized him. He never came back, but Lisa never felt safe in her home again. Emma loved antiques. She often visited thrift stores looking for unique pieces to decorate her home. One day, she found a porcelain doll in perfect condition. It had glassy blue eyes and a serene expression. She thought it was charming and bought it without hesitation. That night, she placed the doll on a shelf in her living room. At around midnight, she woke to the sound of faint whispering. She couldn't make out the words, but felt drawn to the living room. Turning on the light, she found nothing out of place. The doll sat motionless on the shelf. The whispers continued over the next few nights, growing louder. Emma started to notice other strange things. Objects moved, lights flickered, and her cat refused to go near the doll. One night, she woke to find the doll on the floor, its serene expression replaced by a slight, unsettling smile. Terrified, Emma tried to get rid of it. She left it at a donation center across town, but the next morning, it was back on the shelf. Convinced she was losing her mind, she finally burned the doll in her backyard. As it burned, she swore she heard it scream. The activity stopped after that, but Emma never set foot in another thrift store again. These stories remind us of the thin veil between reality and the unknown. Whether it's shadows, stalkers, or cursed objects, the things we fear most might be closer than we think. Have you ever experienced something unexplainable? Share your story in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more chilling tales. Until next time, stay safe and keep the lights on.